Alright guys, today's Friday. Thought I'd give you guys a quick update since the last time I worked on it. I haven't really done much, haven't had time. But the engine is on there, mounted. Motor mount's bolted up. I kind of just put the battery there for mock-up. It's not, the tray's loose. I did the ground. Battery to the block to the chassis. Transmission is in there. Let's see what else. There's a vacuum hose here that I need to replace. I noticed that the alternator wire is broken. Not broken, but it's not wired correctly, so easy. I gotta get this coolant hose for the turbo. There's I gotta get this radiator to the engine upper hose. I also gotta get a power steering reservoir. This camera sucks. There you go. Gotta get a power steering reservoir and connect the hard line. I mean, it's on there now and it looks like it might work, but for the Fox body steering rack, but I don't think so. So I have to get an adapter or something. I have a JZ power steering line made up for it to use the Fox body rack. Fuel line. I gotta get a new fuel tank. I gotta get a fuel pump. I might use the stock fuel line because it already has a return. You can see them down there. So I might do that. I gotta get this windshield wiper motor installed. I have it. It's hanging right there. But yeah, and these are all the wires that came off the Fox body. 1983 doesn't have much wiring. So it looks like, let's see, let's go over them real fast. So this one looks like it says, I marked them when I removed them. Oil pressure sensor, okay, yellow one. This one is the starter solenoid, so I'll probably use this and use the stock solenoid to get the motor to run. Connect the alternator. I apologize. Connect the starter and the battery power to that solenoid with this, because this gives it power whenever the key is switched on. So that's a plus. And these are all for the old distributor. I don't really know what they're for. I might not even use them. But yeah, it says distributor. Something else I wrote on there, I'm not sure. Distributor. Who knows? Alright, so in this other one here it says that it's for the coolant temperature sensor. So I'm pretty sure these are all for the gauges that are inside the cluster if I wanted to use the stock cluster, which I might. My only main concern is oil pressure, battery, voltage, RPM, speed, gas. So, and this is just the ground. This black one's a ground. So the yellow one here is this went to the aftermarket fuel pump they had connected in the engine bay. So this is also a switch. Whenever the switch and the key is turned on, this turns on. So another plus. And this right here is for the speed sensor. This used to go into the T5 manual transmission. This is for the speedometer. It goes in there. And connects into the transmission, the old transmission. So I probably won't even use these two. I might use the wire to connect it to the to the W58, but I'm not sure how to do that yet. I'll look into it, but worst case scenario, you know, we'll figure something out about the speedometer. So yeah, that's the wiring part of it. Not many wires, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 wires total, not including the ground. Okay, just line these up the way I had it. And I want to add that I'm no pro building engines, nothing like that, but you know, I know my way around cars quite a bit since I've been working on them for a while now. But like I said, no pro, but this thing will run. So I got the IS300 ECU bolted on. I got this thing called the igniter. Get the igniter on there as well. On there. Got the ECU in here, stock twin turbo Aristo ECU. I'd open it up, but I'd have to go get my tools and this and that. But if the ECU's in there and it's connected, everything's ready to go. I just have to reopen it up and get some leads, some wires from in there. That way I can connect it to those wires into a switch panel. That way I can start it from the inside and simplify things. I gotta get the throttle cable going. This one right here. This one right here should connect to right here. Shouldn't be too hard. It's right there. Just gotta extend it or somehow make a new one. But like I said, not too worried about that. I gotta get a cold air intake. I gotta get an intake where it comes down through there, and the map sensor connects to it. You know, it can't be too long because I don't have much space in here. I'm not really trying to throw the battery in the trunk as of now. Maybe when I go single turbo so it looks a little pretty, but right now I'm just trying to get it to run. And I was checking this hose out, like a recirc valve, and it's ripped right here. So I gotta replace that. I gotta bypass the heater core, so I'd have to connect these two hoses together because I was checking this Mustang out and it looks like it does not have a heater core. And in order to get that heater core, I'd have to take off the dash and this and that. So I'll leave that for when I'm ready to throw AC in this car, because I know I'm pretty sure I'd have to do something with the evaporator in there. So yeah, this one here is the, let's see, for the alternator. This wire here is for the alternator, and this one here is for the starter. One here is for the starter. Then, psych. Try to take my light, but let me turn this other one on. IS300 radiator mounted up, ready to go. I kind of try to do a wiring harness tuck, but it's not ready. You know, I just kind of mocked them up for now, in case I needed to pull some more wires out of the harness. But they're gonna go through there, down through here, under that radiator, and all that goes this way is the headlights wires, which are already in there hooked up. So headlights work. Not work, but the battery needs to be hooked up, but they work. Alright, let's keep moving. Batteries in there, cold air intake. It's gonna go through here. Then I gotta get an intercooler piping. That's gonna be probably the hardest part, because I'm no welder, nor am I good with measurements. So I gotta get it down through here. It's gonna hopefully go down straight through the bottom there, up around this way onto the front mount. It's gonna go around around the front radiator support into the intake. So yeah, that's gonna be a hard one, but we'll see. I also gotta get an AC condenser just to have it in there. I'll connect them to the AC compressor, that way those things don't get too dirty. So here, so that way they don't get too dirty, the two hose inlets. Let's see. So I got the transmission kind of on there, not really, but kind of needed to have the jack handy just in case I needed it for other things, and I only have one jack. So what I did, let me focus. This camera sucks, I apologize. Okay, so what I did was I used the stock Mustang T5 mount and just flipped it over because it would hang too low if I did it the way it goes. So I just kind of flipped it over and it was still too low, so I kind of just put a 2x4 in there for now to kind of hold the transmission up. But at the same time, it kind of gives me an idea of how high it needs to go, and where the mount studs will hit. That way I can take it to work, have something welded on there, have some holes drilled out of it, and I can just mount it on there and use the stock transmission mount. This is stock for a T5. I'm not sure if it's the same for automatic. I would assume so, since the mounting points for the tranny mount are the same, the bolting points. Okay, yeah, and there we go. It's kind of, oh, somebody cut that nasty ass hole up there. It was not me. I just kind of trimmed where the shifter will go a little bit. I didn't even need to trim that much, but somebody else had already been in here. And I don't know if you can see, but I have, you can't see, but oh yeah, you can kind of see, I have the downpipe already ready to go there. So I just have to take it to a muffler shop or something, have them weld the rest of it all the way to the back, single exit on the passenger side, because the fuel lines run through the driver's side. I guess it doesn't really matter, but for safety reasons I want it through the passenger side, straight out the back, 3-inch all the way back. Hopefully sounds good on stock twins. But yeah, here's that tranny mount. See if you can see the 2x4. You can't, just one 2x4. But yeah, so that was, like I said, that was just for now because I needed a jack to have it handy. I only have one jack. I need to get more. I don't do this every weekend, but lately I haven't, so I might have to start buying tools and such. And yeah, still needs a lot of work, this mount, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to use the stock mount by looking at it. And I'm going to need a drive shaft, since that's the T5 drive shaft. I just kind of kept it because I'll need the yoke for the rear of it. But I'm thinking about taking it off soon because it's just hanging there, and if I need to move the car, it kind of drags and spins all over the place, which makes it hard to move the car because it gets stuck. Wow, I just saw that other mounting thing. That's what that was. Alright, so let's wrap this video up. I'll show you guys where the shifter sits on here. See if I can hold this light and the camera together. Yep, here we go. So my son ripped this. I was down there connecting that tranny mount. I guess he saw me down there and he ripped it. But my wife can sew, so I'll have her sew this back up. I'll have to replace it maybe, because nah, I won't. We'll see. can't see. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just not trying to take it all apart again. I'm ready to have a lot of stuff to do. So I'm kind of making this video just to watch when I'm not around or I'm going on a trip. So I'll be back in a few days. But yeah, you can't see it. But it's in there, no doubt. You can't see it. Sorry guys, but it sits, stock one sits about there, and the W58 with the tripod sits about right here. So I might have to trim this out a little bit, like this whole piece right here, cut it off, and somehow make a new one of this, or extend it so it covers where I cut and it kind of looks stock. But I mean, this Mustang has a lot of missing parts regardless, but I'm just trying to keep it stock looking as possible. Just for you know, I just like things to look stock. And just right here is what I'm going to use to bypass the neutral safety switch, because this engine came with the automatic and the ECU is for an automatic. So what you do is you take this off your old transmission, the automatic. It was a 4-speed that came with this Aristo swap. You connect it, and you turn that thing onto neutral. That way, it thinks it's in neutral the whole time, that tranny. So you'll be able to turn it on, turn it off, turn it back on, so it won't give you any issues. And I've heard of cars going into limp mode when doing this, or when you connect the two wires that are on the harness, but we will see. If it does go into limp mode, then you'll have to get an, what do they call it, ATMU, EMU or something like that, automatic emulator, which connects onto the ECU and fixes all those issues. So we will see. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. Like I said, I got a few things to do. There we go. Still thinking we're gonna have clearance issues for the hood. As you can see, not the maps